Welcome back, students. We'll be looking at section 4.4, practice problems for applications of linear systems. In this video, we will just cover problems 1 through 5, and then I will have a second video covering problems 6 through 10. Word problems take longer, and I don't want the videos to be any longer than they have to be, so I've divided this section of practice problems up into 2 videos for you. All right, so let's start with number 1. The sum of two numbers is 201, and the difference between them is 11. Find the two numbers. So remember, the first thing is we need to assign variables. So I'm going to say, let the first number equal x. Let the second number equal y. Now it says write two equations using both variables. All right, so looking back at my problem, it said the sum of these two numbers is 201. So that tells me I'm going to add x plus y to get 201. The next part tells me the difference between them is 11. So my second equation is going to be subtracting them from each other to get 11. Now I'm going to take those two equations and write them over here in step 4 and figure out how we want to use them to get our values. Now remember, we can use substitution or elimination. I'm going to choose elimination in this one because I noticed that I have x's that I can either get rid of or y's that I can get rid of by adding my equation. I noticed that my plus y and my negative y, if I add these equations together, they'll cancel each other out. So that's what I'm going to do here. So x plus x is 2x plus 0 because my y's cancel out, and then I get 212. Rewrite this. Divide both sides by 2. I end up with x equals 106. All right, so I've found my first number, but I need to find my second number. So I'm going to take my first equation, the x plus y equals, here, let me move that over just a little bit. I'm going to show how we're doing the next part of this. So x plus y equals 201. I'm going to plug in the 106 that we found for my x. Subtract that from both sides. I get 0 plus y equals 95. So y equals 95. Now remember, our final step is to double check that these two numbers do in fact work. So I'm going to put x plus y equals 201 here. Put a divider between, and then put x minus y equals 11 here. Substitute in my values. I have 106 plus 95. That does in fact give us 201. So we're good so far. Now I'm going to say 106 minus 95, and that does give us 11. So we have found the correct answer. The way we need to write our answer, though, is 106, 95. This is indicating that we have found our first and second numbers. Problem 2. During Broadway runs of A Chorus Line and Beauty and the Beast, there have been 676 fewer performances of Beauty and the Beast than of A Chorus Line. There were a total of 11,598 performances of the two shows. How many performances were there of each show? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is write out let Beast equal and let Chorus equal. And I need to figure out what each of these are going to equal, okay? So it says there have been 676 fewer performances of Beauty and the Beast than of A Chorus Line. So the way they describe Beauty and the Beast is by referencing chorus lines. So chorus is going to be my reference letter, my reference variable. So I'm going to make it C. Now I need to figure out how to write out Beauty and the Beast based off of that. So it said 676 fewer. So fewer means I'm going to take that 676 from something. Well, what I'm taking it from is the chorus. So we have C minus 676. Now I need to figure out what my two equations are going to be from this. Okay. So I know that Beast, so B equals C minus 676. That's my first equation. My second one is adding the two shows together to get the total number of performances that they give us here. So I'm going to say B plus C equals 11,598. So now I have my two equations. I'm going to come over here and rewrite them. B equals C minus 676. And B plus C equals that 11,598. All right. The last problem, I used elimination because it made the most sense. This one, substitution makes the most sense because I already have a letter isolated. I have B isolated, and I can just use substitution in the second equation. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to write out B plus C equals 11,598. I'm going to replace my B with what it equals, which is the C minus 676. And then I have the plus C that was already there and the 11,598. Combine my C's and I get 2C minus 676 equals 11,598. I'm going to add that 676 to both sides. I get 2C plus 0 equals 12,274. Bring it up over here so I can finish it. Divide both sides by 2. And I get C equals 6,137. All right, but I'm not done. I still need to figure out what, how many for Beauty and the Beast. So I'm going to draw a little box here to section it off. And I'm going to use my other equation to find that. So I have B equals C minus 676. Plug in my C value that I found, 6,137 minus 676. And I get B equals 5,461. I now have my two values, but we need to check our answer. So I'm going to come up over here. I have, let's see here, B plus C equals 11,598. Plug in my values, 5,461 plus 6,137. That does give me 11,598. So we have in fact found our correct answers. Now don't forget, you need to list your answers. Beast equals 5,461. Let's see, chorus equals 6,137. These are my answers. All right, problem 3. Terry bought each of his 5 nieces a DVD of the Peanuts movie or a Blu-ray disc of Frozen. Each DVD cost $14.99. Each Blu-ray disc cost $24.99. Terry spent a total of $84.95. How many of each did he buy? Okay, so again, the first thing is we need to designate our variables for each of the items. The 2 items that we're talking about are the Peanuts movie and the Frozen movie. So for Peanuts, I'm going to give P. For Frozen, I'm going to use the letter F. And then we need to know how many total DVDs did Terry buy? Well, it told us that he has 5 nieces and he bought one for each of them. So that tells me he bought a total of 5 DVDs. Now we need to list the cost per DVD. For the Peanuts, it was $14.99. For Frozen, it was $24.99. All right, now remember, the way we get our total cost, our third column, is by multiplying that first column by that second column. So I have 14.99p, and I have 24.99f, and the total cost they gave us. So we don't have to multiply that part. We just put in the 84.95 that they gave us right here. Now we are going to put together our 2 equations. Remember, this first column is the first one, and the third column is our second one. So I'm going to write those out here. P plus F equals 5. And then 14.99p plus 24.99f equals 84. Put my decimal in the wrong place there. 84.95. Rewrite them over here. So I have P plus F equals 5, and I have 14.99p plus 24.99f equals 84.95. All right, looking at this, it seems like the most logical choice would be substitution, because I can easily isolate either P or F in that first equation. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to isolate the P. So P plus F equals 5. Subtract F from both sides. I get P plus 0 equals negative F plus 5. So P equals negative F plus 5. This is what I'm going to use for my substitution. Rewrite my other equation with that in there. So I have 14.99 times negative F plus 5 plus 24.99 F equals 84.95. Go ahead and distribute. I get negative 14.99F plus 14.99 times 5 is going to give us 74.95. And rewrite the rest of the problem out. Now I'm going to combine like terms. That negative 14.99F plus the 24.99F is going to give us a positive 10F. And then rewrite the rest of the problem. Subtract the 74.95 from both sides. I get 10F plus 0 equals 10. So 10F equals 10. Divide both sides by 10. And I get F equals 1. All right. Now we need to find our other value, the P value. I'm going to use that first equation. P plus F equals 5. Plug in the F value. So P plus 1. Subtract 1. Get P plus 0 equals 4, and we get P equals 4. All right, let's check our values just to make sure. So I have the 14.99 times 4 plus the 24.99 times 1 equals 84.95. 14.99 times 4 is 59.96. 24.99 times 1 stays 24.99. If I add these two together, I get the 84. Oops, I wrote that wrong. 84.95. And we did, in fact, find the correct answer. All right, so Peanuts movie Terry bought 4. And the Frozen movie, Terry only bought 1. Number 4. Carly is a bank teller. At the end of the day, she has a total of $75 bills and $10 bills. The total value of the money is $590. How many of each denomination does she have? All right, so she's got 2 different kinds of bills. She has $5 bills and she has $10 bills. We need to give each of those a variable. So I'm going to designate the $5 bill an X and the $10 bill a Y. How many number of bills does she have? Well, they tell us that she has 70. She has 70 total of the bills if we counted each bill. So that's 70. Not $70, but 70 items basically. And then we need to figure out our total value for our third column. And remember, we multiply the first times the second column to get our third column. So we get 5X here. We get 10Y here. And we're not going to do multiplication for our third one because they actually give us the amount that she has. So we have $590. Now we need to write our 2 equations. We have X plus Y equals 70. And then we have 5X plus 10Y equals that $590. Rewrite it over here. 5X plus 10Y equals 590. And try to decide which do I want to do. Do I want to use substitution or do I want to use elimination? This one actually would be fairly simple to use elimination because it would be easy to get that top equation to have a matching number to that second equation. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do elimination, but I need to adjust one of my equations to do that. So I'm going to adjust this top one and I'm going to multiply it by 5 so that we can get rid of our x's. So let's do that. And I need to multiply it by a -5. So we end up with an opposite sign on our equations. All right, so -5x minus 5y equals -350 when I multiply that through. Rewrite my other one. I'm going to add these 2 equations together. I get 0 plus 5y equals 240. So that's 5y equals 240. Divide both sides by 5. And I get y equals 48. All right, I'm going to take that value to figure out what my other one is. So x plus y equals 70. Plug it in. Subtract the 48 from both sides. X plus 0 equals 22. So x equals 22. Now we just need to check our value to make sure that we got the right answer. So I'm going to write 5 times 22 plus 10 times 48 equals 590. 5 times 22 is 110. 10 times 48 is 480. Those 2 numbers together give us 590. So we do, in fact, have the correct values. And we would write our answer as the $5 bills equals 22. So she had 22 of those. And the $10 bills, she had 48. All right, last practice problem in this video is number 5. So we have Charles invested in 2 accounts, one paying 3% simple annual interest and the other paying 2%. He earned a total of $880 interest. If he invested 3 times as much in the 3% account as in the 2% account, how much did he invest at each rate? All right, so the first thing we need to do is label our 2 items, which are 3% and 2%. These were the 2 interests that he used. So 3%, I'm going to label X, and 2% is y. I need to change my percents into decimals to be able to work with them. So that's going to become 0.03 because we have to move that percent 2 times, and then 0.02. To get my third column, I need to multiply those. So I get 0.03x and 0.02y. Now they give us how much he made in interest. They gave us the $880. So I'm going to put that here. Okay. So that third column is one of our equations. I'm going to go ahead and write that one out and show you how we come up with our second one, because we don't have all the information in that first column like we normally do. But they gave us the information for our second one right here. It says if he invested 3 times as much in the 3% account as in the 2% account, so 3 times as much. All right, so if he invested 3 times as much in the 3% account, so that's our larger account as in the 2%. All right, so to make them equal, I would need to multiply my 2% account, which is y, by 3, because it said he put 3 times more in the 3% account. So that means I need to multiply the 2% account by 3 to make them equal. So this is actually going to be our second equation, x equals 3y. I'm going to rewrite those over here, 0.03x plus 0.02y equals 880. And then we had the x equals 3y. We already have the x isolated, so for this problem, it makes more sense to do substitution. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a little line here. So 0.03, I'm going to replace the x with the 3y, and then rewrite out the rest of the problem. All right, so 0.03 times 3y is 0.09y plus 0.02y. Add our like terms, and I get 0.11y equals 880. Divide both sides by that 0.11, and I get y equals 8,000. All right, now we need to figure out our other value. So I'm going to take the x equals 3y. We know our y value now, so I'm going to plug that in. And we get x equals 24,000. We're going to take those values, plug them back into one of the equations to figure out if that is the true values, if those are the true values, I should say, if I want to use proper grammar. 0.03 times 24,000 plus 0.02 times 8,000, and that should equal the 880. So let's see here. 0.03 times 24,000 gives us 720. 0.02 times 8,000 gives us 160. And like I said, that should equal 880. When we add those together, we do get 880. So they do, in fact, equal each other, and we're good. So I'm going to write out my answer. 3% is the 24,000. 2% is the 8,000. All right, guys, let's look at our verse here. I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. Along unfamiliar paths I will guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. Isaiah 42:16. All right, we'll see you in the next video for problems 6 through 10. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.